Good evening. It's Tuesday, the 15th of September 2020. I'm Dowd Army. This is your Right News on your Right TV. So, firstly, let's have a coronavirus briefing because that's what this news is all about. This is called the coronavirus news. Now, yesterday, the government passed a new law which is called the Rule of Six. So, what that means is only 6 people can meet up indoor or outdoor. Now, this is a fucking joke. So, if you're in the pub and there's 6 of you around a table and then you see some mates of yours on the other side of the pub and there's 6 of them, you can't go over to them and mingle. You got to stay, all right, from far away. So you can't mix with them. How much of a fucking joke is that? Then you got large families. If you've got a family with 5 kids, that makes 7 of them, and they want to see their grandparents, they got to do it in turns, split the family up to see them. So what happens at Christmas and stuff like that? And then you've got with the kids. In this country, anyone over 12, or is it all kids are classed as part of the group, or in Wales and Scotland, under 12s are not classed as part of the group. What a fucking joke that is. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then you got the pubs. Now what they're saying now is all pubs and all restaurants and all places for facials and that, yeah, you got to take the full details of the customer, name, address, number, the lot, as soon as you go in. Then at 9 p.m, I guarantee you within 2 weeks, pubs will shut. There'll be a curfew. So at 9 o'clock, all pubs will shut every day. Watch this fucking space for thee there. So, a family of 6 or more can't visit their grandparents. You can't sit in the garden with more than 6 people, basically, of 3 families. And what comes at Christmas time is all totally fucked. But if you go grouse shooting, that's okay. Because that's classed as a sport and it's outdoor and it's organised. So you can go grouse shooting, but a 6-member family can't sit down with their grandparents together, basically. What a fucking joke. Then to round it all off, report your neighbours, yeah? So what they're saying is, yeah, if you see your neighbours, yeah, they've got 7 or 8 people in their house or in their garden, phone the police, fucking grass them up. What happened to neighbourhood watch, helping each other, looking after each other? You know what I mean? It's your neighbour that's going to give you help you start your car. It's your neighbour that's going to give you a glass of sugar and stuff like that if things are fucked up. You know what I mean? For thee. And you can get fines of up to 3,200 quid. Fine up 3,200 quid for disobeying this new law called the Rule of Six. What a bunch of fucking wankers. Right then, now the realities are clear. The second coronavirus wave has started, basically. This is the one. This is the second wave. And they say it's going to be worse than the first because winter's come in. So we'll just have to wait and see, really. But I don't think it'll be worse than the first because a lot of people who are fragile have already died. Namely the 35,000 over 75s. But what we are is we're lagging behind Europe by 2 to 3 weeks. Now, we've been lagging behind Europe, yeah, even earlier in the year. Whatever happened in Italy and Spain happened here 2-3 weeks later. Well, France is now just recording 10,000 cases a day for the last 3 days in a row. Two of their largest cities, Marseille and Bordeaux, their health services are under extreme pressure. The amount of people now are heading into the hospitals. So cases are going up across Europe, but now it's the younger generation that are getting ill rather than the older generation. Because the older generation are clever, they're shielding, look after themselves. The younger generation, bunch of fuddles, out on the piss, getting mash, don't give a fuck, and there you go. And now it's also, as we start opening care homes, it's about to creep back into care homes. So there you go. Now the UK figures look worrying. Deaths ain't rising, look. But new infections are rising. Over 3,500 for 4 or 5 days in a row. And along with this, hospital admissions are now slowly beginning to rise. So, after what we went through in April and the lessons learnt, how has our government responded to this? Basically like this. So there's no tests available. Doesn't matter where you try, what you call, you can't get a test. So if you work in a hospital and you're a nurse and your child gets ill, you've got to self-isolate, but you can't get a test. If someone in your school class gets ill, then everyone has to self-isolate because you can't get a test. So it's struggling at the hospitals, it's struggling in the schools, there's no tests in the community, and basically there's no fucking test available whatsoever. Some people have had to travel 5 or 6 hours just to get a fucking test, then to get there and realise there's no fucking test available. That is a fucking joke. You've had that long to prepare for this fucking second wave, all through fucking summer. Fuddy they are. You should have fucking had your tests ready, wankers. So now, new outbreaks can't be detected quickly because there's no tests available. So you can't get people to lock down and look after each other and stay away. And then you got this fuddle last week. He accused people without symptoms getting tested for no reason, and that's the reason there aren't enough test kits. What a fucking twat. Now, as we all head indoors for winter, cases will rise, and we will once again look to our government to guide us through the difficult times that we're approaching over winter. So our government. Our pandemic response has suffered because it has been led by the government officials with shit experience in controlling public fucking health. First, you got the health secretary, this twat. 2 years in the job, otherwise no experience in fucking public health. Then you got this prick, Professor Chris Whitty. He was only appointed in 2019 as the chief medical officer. Then you got this fucking biggest fuddle. He was only elected last year, and now it's realising now that the man is a fucking clan. Proper fuddle. Now, these three fuddles are in charge of our health and safety for the next 6 to 9 months. Think about it. Our whole coronavirus response has been a fucking shambles from day one, and this joke of a testing system just shows how inept and incompetent these wankers are. Fucking tossers. In other news, this fuddle is saying our Brexit deal never made sense. Now, Boris fucking Johnson, he negotiated it, he signed it, he prevented MPs from scrutinising it, he campaigned for it, and he won a general fucking election because of it. And now he's saying this deal doesn't make sense. As it's real, police can break up large parties disregarding the law. Many suggest they start here. And as Boris Johnson announces COVID testing plan will cost the UK 100 billion, one man begrudgingly sets off. I would call the police on people flouting new COVID rules, says woman who voted to break the law yesterday. Know what I mean? Double standard bitch. The Where's Wally 2020 annual is snubbed at bookstores. And finally, please remember the government law, the rule of 6. As well as only meeting in groups of 6, social distancing must always be observed. Unlike these arsewipes in Bradford. I'm Dawud Army. This is the coronavirus news on Yarai TV.